What's up everyone, it's Matt Mrozik aka MVN097 with my latest finished kit. This is the 1/72 Jagged Dogga conversion kit from G-System Shop. This is a commission for my client that I've been building for quite a while. He's the one that also has the Utopia Casca Kshatriya and the 1/72 GM Sniper 3 that I just did a while back. So I just finished this guy up, started him in January, so he took me about 5 months. Now, in that 5 months, I did complete a master grade Sinanju with a neo grade dress up kit as a commission also. I started this guy, got him all cleaned up and pinned together, and I got him in primer. Then I took a little break, got the Sinanju done, and came back to this guy. So if I didn't do the Sinanju, I probably could have gotten this done in 4 months, which is still quite a long time. I probably have close to 200 hours into it, would be a good guess. I don't really keep track of hours, but I know just between yesterday and today I've put in about 20 hours. I spent 12 hours yesterday just on final assembly and another 5 or 6 hours today finishing up final assembly, doing some touch-ups. I went in and had a few spots on the gray that I had some dirt in the top coat, so I just went in there and kind of sprayed some gray on top of that, some of my top color, and blended it in, and then just kind of hit those spots with some dull coat, and it all blends in. You can't even tell where I touched it up. I had to install the 2 pieces of photo wedge down here today, which was actually pretty tricky. I had to go back and do some brush touch-ups there and masking and respring with flat because I had to bend a little bit and the glue wasn't wanting to hold them, so that took me a little bit longer. And then I had to, I painted the power cables this morning and just got those installed. That was the very last thing I did. And also the last thing I did today was I finished off the gun. And you can't see because it's not in frame. Finished off the gun, which was basically, I painted it yesterday and then I top coated this morning, or I went in and I did all the panel lines and everything. Did a final top coat this afternoon. And there are 2 little lenses here that I put in. Got some candy here to get all the dust off, so excuse me, because my garage is dusty. This thing is really a nice kit. It looks really good. It is extremely stable on the perfect grade Zaku frame. This will not fall over. I can pick the whole thing up with one hand, no problem. I won't do it because they'll get out of frame, but I can move them around. He is a little bit posable. Again, I always advise against posing a painted kit because you'll scratch the paint, you'll scuff it up, and that's just my preference. I don't care if all my kits are just standing there, but after the amount of time I put in painting, the last thing I want to do is scratch paint. So I always advise against kind of posing or playing with these things because it's a lot of man hours in this sucker. And you don't want to, it's so easy to screw something up with one little mishap. So we're just going to kind of start from the top and work my way down and kind of explain what's going on here. So my client had to give me a color scheme which consisted of a gray, a white, a dark blue, a black, and yellow. So as with most of my color schemes, I usually don't think about them. But when something's given to me, I really have to consider what the client wants and how I'm going to place those colors. So one reason I kind of stopped working on this and I went to the Sinanju is because I had to kind of think in my head where was I going to place all those colors, because I want them all represented in some way or another. So he'd also sent me a picture of a Rick Dom, custom Rick Dom, that was in kind of a similar color scheme, but it was more heavy on the blues and less on the grays. So I kind of flipped it. It went heavier on the grays and just had kind of little touches of blue here and there. So the whole kit was base coated in black. The gray you see is Mr. Color neutral gray with some white in there, and it's basically 1 part gray to half a part white. It's one of the few times I do a custom mix. I didn't have a gray light enough in my stock that I liked. If I would have gone with just the neutral gray by itself, it would have been really dark, and I wanted more contrast. The blue is Mr. Color blue with a little bit of white mixed in there. At first I just tried it with the blue, but it was too dark. It was almost black and you really couldn't see the shading and highlighting. So I added a little bit of white to kind of to bring that out a little bit. The black you see is simply black, Mr. Color GX black, and there is a little bit of shading. It's really not showing up. basically I took the black and I added about 10% white and did some post shading, but you really can't see it. So in the right light it shows up a little bit, but it has to be very specific. You can see there's some shiny parts here. So we got the head here, right here, which is actually interchangeable. It comes with 2 heads. So on G-System's website, there's a red version and a green version. And to be honest, they're exactly the same kit. The only difference is, and I don't know the difference, like which one's supposed to be red or green. It comes with 2 heads. And I don't even know if this is the right antenna for that head, but you can mix and match these. I'm not going to do it, but you can switch these out. These were sprayed with that U-POL acrylic urethane, super glossy. It looks like glass. So if you were to buy this kit from G-System, you actually get both kits in the same box. The only difference is the head and the horn. So if they show that one is sold out, just get the other one. It's the same thing. We have the shoulder pieces here, which are also left glossy, and you can see that nice shine in the light. And here's a good example of that U-POL at work, the U-POL acrylic urethane. So I'm going to dust this off again. So after I applied my decals, I went ahead and I slid them on the panel lines, added some more Microsol, and then I went in and added 2 nice wet coats of the U-POL, and it looks painted on. You cannot see an edge whatsoever. So that stuff is really awesome. You can see kind of some of my shading work on the thrusters there. I did those a little different. Typically what I do is I'll do this and I'll go back in the middle and I'll hit those with white again. But I actually kind of like the way this turned out. I decided to leave them this time because I kind of like the that, I don't know, the orange center there. It kind of looks good. It looks like it's been used. There's tons of metallics on here. There's a bunch of Mr. Color steel. There's a bunch of Alclad. A lot of the shiny Alclad you see is the polished aluminum. Now I did make one decision that I kind of regretted, and I won't do in the future. For the frame I used a Testors buffable gunmetal. Now if you've ever used the buffable paints, the idea is that you can spray it and then you can buff it and it can kind of get a sheen to it. That's all fine and dandy, and so I didn't want that. So what I did is I sprayed it, and then they have a metallizer sealer which I sprayed, and I thought I'll be all good and I'd be fine there and then nothing would happen. Well, even with the sealer, the paint rubs off relatively easy, so I'll never use that as a frame color again. And it doesn't really, you really can't tell. There's a few spots I can go in and do a brush touch up, but initially I had planned on making the armor removable, and you still can. The leg armors, with the exception of the knee armor and these 2 calf armors, this all can technically come off. I advise against that to my client because there's a really good chance that you will chip the paint. But there are a bunch of details that I sprayed inside the legs that you can't see. There's some pistons, there's a couple pipes that I spent a lot of time spraying and masking and all that fun stuff, but you really can't see it. And also on the underside of the armors and stuff, there's a bunch of plating that I had masked off and sprayed. You really can't see that either. So I know it's done. It makes me happy that it's done, and I took the time to do it. If you were to put this up on a stand and look up underneath the leg, you could see it. You'd be able to see some of that detail. So I did the gray for the main color, obviously, and then I did little highlights of the dark blue to kind of bring that color into the color scheme. The black is represented by the backpack and this really shiny metallic. Now this is the Mr. Color GX metallic black, and it's really, really nice. This is gonna look grainy because I'm gonna zoom in. I'll zoom out. What I did is I sprayed gloss black, then I did the GX metallic black, and then I went and post shaded with some really thin down black, and it's actually showing up here pretty good. You can see my shading, which gives it some nice depth. And I did the same thing on the shield here. Kind of see there, and you can see that I left all those parts nice and shiny with that clear coat, so it gives a nice contrast between all the matte parts and the shiny parts. Let's see, what else can I mention? Oh, excuse me, I did replace the LED for the mono eye, simply because when I was trying to put it in, the one that came with the kit, it broke off, and there was no way to solder it back on. So I basically found the smallest LED that I had in my stash, and I put it in there. And it's a little big, but it's okay. So let's get that turned on. And there you can go. And my battery's a little dead, so we'll see if it comes on. But nice feature is that this is a color changing LED in the back here, and those are 3 fiber optics that come with the kit. So it just does it not randomly, but it's automatic. I don't have to do anything. So you can see it goes from like green to blue to turquoise to yellow to red. And actually the bigger LED is kind of nice in the hex. It really stands out. The other one is super tiny. But it looks pretty good. I'm real happy with that. So let's turn the light back on. And we'll come around here. So the button for the light is right here. And this has been glued into place. So it's a little sticky. It works, but it's a tight fit. The batteries are up under here. And there's this little hatch right here is actually just stuck on some blue tack. So in order for my client to change the batteries, you have to go in there with like a toothpick or something not sharp, and just pry that little panel off and take the button batteries out and replace them. Pretty simple to do. It all does break down pretty simple. These all come off. The arms can come off. The legs I would just leave on. But this is a really sturdy kit. So basically I left all this stuff glossy, same with the fin funnels. And this is a all-clad polished brass with the clear coat on top. So that's really it. One pop of red right here on the chest, like where the cockpit would be. But after all my touch-ups, man, this thing is really, really good. I'm really happy with it, and I hope my client likes it. He's gonna pick this kit up along with his Utopia Kshatriya and his GM3 Sniper at Wonderfest, because these are being entered into the contest there, and I think he lives like about an hour away, so he's gonna drive out and meet me, and he'll get to see how his kids are doing the competition. I'm fairly confident that these will all at least get a silver, if not golds, just based on my experience last year on which kits they really liked and which ones didn't do so well. I'm pretty confident I'll get silvers or golds on all three of these. So anyway, that's the G-System 1/72 Jag Dogga conversion. I think it's about $325, which sounds expensive. Everything you're seeing is resin. The only plastic on this kit is the frame. So everything you see is resin. Oh, excuse me. The power cables are plastic. That came from the Perfect Grade. Everything else is resin. You're seeing all the plastic is hidden by the armor. So you're getting a lot of resin for your money. It does come with a G-System stand, which I wasn't going to paint the one for my client. I'll just give it to him because I think they're kind of crappy. It will hold this okay. I had it up there earlier, but it's still a little sketchy. So I don't feel comfortable leaving it on there for a length of time, but you can see how sturdy this thing is. I'm spinning this pretty quickly, and it's rock solid, and it's got these big feet too, so they do a really good job of holding the weight and the balance. So that's about all I have to say about this kit. Really nice. Took a little bit longer as I anticipated. All my kits do, but the last touch-ups, I spent quite a bit on touching up this afternoon. I just wanted to go in there and make sure I had it all looking really good. So thanks for watching. As usual, I'm going to take final pics probably tonight and get those posted. But as usual, this is Matt Mrozik, aka MVM397, signing off. Thanks for watching.